Hey guys, I got a PS2 to HDMI converter a little while ago, and I thought I'd do a mini review of it. Not bad for the price or anything. I think I got it off of Amazon for like 25 bucks. It does what it's intended to do, which converts PS2 to HDMI. So, um, kind of iffy on the quality and stuff, but if you're going through a like thing where you want to do a lot of component to an HDMI, I go with like an actual component to HDMI converter instead of just doing it like individually like this. But if you just want to do a PS2 to HDMI thing, then this one will work. So, and as you can see from the picture, if you want to do a 5-1 stereo setup, you can do it with this thing. It comes in a regular little white cardboard box. It has the converter itself, and it has a USB charge cable. It's a mini one, so there are no instructions with it, which is kind of weird. Kind of sucks, actually, but hey, whatever. And while you do not have to use the power thing, I would highly suggest it because this thing draws frames every once in a while, and it tends to do it a little more often if you don't have the power converter plugged in. So, unfortunately, it's on the other side of the actual picture here. So, which does make it really weird because it's right next to the power cord. Um, so it can be a little difficult to actually plug in. It's not like extremely difficult or anything, but it is a little bit of an annoyance. Okay, the people that I would recommend something like this to are people that are kind of looking for a new TV to replace their old one because a lot of TVs do not have component anymore, so they just have HDMI. So, um, and while you could go with like an earlier model or lesser quality model, I just dropped that and with like an actual better TV. So, um, uh, there are some people that just choose to play it like through their monitors, like as their actual TV screen. And usually those don't have component either. They just have HDMI. So hey, that's one thing that'll work with this. So, um, but kind of going along with that, if you plan to be doing game capture in the future, this is something that I would also recommend going with because a lot of game capture devices also do not have component. As for the people that I would not recommend this for, one would be the type of games that you actually play. Um, if you're playing like an RPG, like I usually do, it's not too bad. It is a little annoying when it skips over some of the dialogue or um, it kind of skips over some of the text. Because usually when the drop frames come, it'll be like maybe a second or two or whatever. And if you're playing something like a first-person shooter, for example, you know, not being able to tell what's going on or hear anything for like 1 or 2 seconds could definitely mean the difference between life and death. So, graphically is kind of an iffy thing for me. Sometimes the images that are on screen seem to be like really clear and stuff. Sometimes they seem to be a little muddy. Plus, sometimes the black levels that are shown up on screen, they're really not very good. I kind of wish that they would be better, but hey, whatever. So, um, if I had to compare this to the other cables, I should say, better than a composite, definitely. Composite just sucks anyway, so I kind of wish that they would bundle something else with it, but hey, whatever. So, um, it is also better than the early component cables. Um, you can usually find these things for like 10, $12 or whatever online. So, um, those things are just horrible. Even though they have the component interface on them, they're analog signals, so it's more like RGB SCART. Um, and unfortunately, the North American PS2 doesn't play RGB SCART that well. So, um, uh, for example, sometimes the image is like really clear, sometimes it's really muddy, sometimes the actual colors are like oversaturated. Sometimes they're undersaturated. Sometimes it's black and white grayscale. Sometimes it's black and white period black and white. So, um, yeah, those kind of things I wouldn't suggest using this to replace. But um, if you have high quality component cables, like if you have like really high quality monster cables, I would stick with those instead because then you don't get the drop frames, and the color scheme seems to be a little better. Granted, you do kind of not actually see like quote all the image, but hey, whatever. So, um, and even when you have it on full screen with this thing, you still get like black bars on the left and right side of the screen. So, um, I have not noticed any on the top, but hey, maybe that's just my setup. So, but overall, my suggestion for this is if you are in real desperate need to replace your PS2 component cables, hey, this is a good one for HDMI. So, um, and of course, if you're just having to go with like HDMI for your TV or monitor or whatever, hey, go with this thing. So, um, it's really not very expensive. But I think, me personally, if I had to do this over again, I would probably save up my money just a little more and actually buy a component to a HDMI converter. So, um, the only real good thing about this is that you really don't have to have like an external power supply. You can just plug the USB into hey, whatever. So like if you have an extra console like kind of close, or if you really wanted to, you could always just plug it into the front of your own PS2. Um, that seems to do a pretty good job. Well, better than not having it in at all. So, um, but yeah, thoughts, questions, hey, whatever. So leave them below. So, um, yeah, I will see you later. So have a good day and take care.